leaves a mark like a well-written letter. My whole life I've been trying to live a little better, and I fell down a couple of times before I met you. You know that time marches on like a well-trained soldier. I admit, get anxiety as I get older, and I'll probably fall down a couple of times before I'm through. Well, I took a chance on a romance, and now I suspend it in a slow dance called love. Sweet love. Well, I took a chance on a romance, and now I suspend it in a slow dance called love. Sweet love. What would you say if I told you I loved you anyway? What would you do if I said I'm so in love with you? What would you say if I told you I loved you anyway? What would you do if I told you I'm so in love with you? And this must be what forever feels like. She's heavy on my heart, heavy on my mind. This must be what forever feels like. She's heavy on my heart, heavy on my mind. Yeah. Well, I took a chance on a romance, and now I'm suspended in a slow dance called love. Sweet love. Well, I took a chance on a romance, and now I'm suspended in a slow dance called love. Sweet love. What would you say if I told you I loved you anyway? What would you do if I said I'm so in love with you? What would you say if I told you I loved you anyway? What would you do if I said I'm so in love with you? Well, time leaves a mark like a well-written letter. My whole life I've been trying to live a little better, and I fell down a couple of times before I met you. You know that time marches on like a well-trained soldier. I admit I get anxiety as I get older, and I'll probably fall down a couple of times before I am through. From Dandelion Studios, my name is Joey Helpish, and this is How to Song. And today we're going to talk about root motives, specifically we're going to talk about suspended root motives and interchangeable root motives. It's going to be a bunch of gobbledygook for some of you. So interrupt me. Ask me questions if you're here in the live chat. Part of what I'm doing on Wednesdays is just kind of like, I just wanted to give myself some space to get on a microphone and kind of rant about root motives, to kind of get a feeling for how I would talk about it not in a student situation. Because eventually I'm going to make a book about this stuff and do some proper kind of like lessons and classes and videos about it. Yes, Kirsten, thank you. And so first, before we get started, hello, Dr. Zorders. Hi, Deep Gravity. Hi, Jade. Your show is awesome today. Yes, it's a happy second impeachment day. Hello, BJ. Hello, Mr. Christ. Hello, Kirsten from the other room. Okay, sweet. All right, so the reason why I picked that song is it's one of the first songs I wrote using this technique I want to talk about today, which is suspended root motives. So you probably heard this whole concept of like sus2 chords and sus this and sus that, suspended this and suspended that. It gets confusing what gets considered a suspending thing, but what I'm talking about is something that happened a lot in the 90s. Let me switch over to standard tuning for a minute. So in the 90s, and even the 70s and 80s, but a lot in the 90s, Goo Goo Dolls did this all the time. There was this technique, let's see, of playing a G instead of playing a G this way, just with 3 fingers. You added the 5th fret, second string, 3rd fret of the B string. You get this sound, and then you just move down to get a C, move over here to get an E minor. Those are all sus chords, meaning that I am suspending the G, the root, in all of those chords. So let's go back here. I have my guitar in open G tuning. So it's tuned D. The E string is down to D. That's the low 5th. The root is the A, which is now G. And then D again, which is the 5th of the G chord. And then G again, and then B. So it has this low 5th, root, 5th, root again, and 3rd. I would have another 5th, except I always take the high E string off of open tune guitars. Okay, so we get a G. It's an open G chord. And this is, I learned this tuning because of this. But then, in probably like my mid-20s-ish, I started playing around with playing the major scale and letting the G chord suspend while I changed the root note. So, those are all the notes in the G major scale. I'm not going to go over the whole how to get to a scale. If you can just literally look up how to find a major scale on the interwebs. So we have these 7 notes in the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 1. And when we're playing full chords, which I can't really do in this then in this tuning, then it's love, longing, sorrow, hope, power, despair, and transition. But with this tuning, I can only play the root of those emotions. So very basic emotions, while I'm still suspending that root chord, the G, love. So what that means is right here, I'm in love. But if I go up to the 4, I could bar the whole thing, and then we have hope. But what I'm going to do is just play the root note and let G, love, suspend. So that song that I was playing, the root notes were going 1, 4, 3, 2. Love, hope, sorrow, longing. All suspended in love. This idea of suspending one chord while having the roots of other chords in the key play underneath it is something that's gotten really popular in music, and you've heard it recently in the last few years. The most recognizable song is, so I'm just playing a couple of notes of the love chord, of the root, and then I'm going to go 6, 4, 1, 5. That's despair, hope, love, power. Say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something, I'm giving up on you. So what's happening in that song is that you have on the top the root chord, love, going, and then you're underneath, emotionally, we're just kind of swaying from despair. Say something, hope, I'm giving up on you. And then right on you, love, and then power. Say something, I'm giving up on you. And then if we go to our 90s chords, I'm going love, hope, despair, hope, but everything is suspended in love. I can do the same thing in despair. Despair is just the minor, the relative minor. So if I start on 6 and I walk down, but I keep that chord held. So in this case, let's see, I'll do E minor since we were in G, and then D, and then C, and then B. So 6, despair, power, hope, sorrow. So I'm still going through emotionally what's happening is at the root is despair, power, hope, sorrow. But over that, the whole thing is suspended in despair. You never get away from despair. So it has this desperate sound. And on piano, this same thing, this root, these suspended root motives, happens if you just play one chord. This is say something, I'm giving up on you. This is what they're doing, is that they're just playing the same chord the whole time with their right hand and with the left hand playing chords underneath it. So that's what a suspended root motive is. If anybody has any questions, ask now, because I'm gonna move on to something else in a second. Hi, Pete. Oh, I promised. Okay, here we go. I'm going to write the theme song to Pete's sex tape right now. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to suspend it in love. I'm going love, hope, despair, but then power because of Pete's mighty carrot. Well, Pete's mighty carrot on the silver screen. Pete's sexy carrot, you know what I mean. Well, a Pete's mighty carrot on the silver screen. Well, Pete's got a big old carrot, you know what I mean. Boom. Okay, there you go. All right, so, hey, Guzzo. Hi, buddy. Also known as brown chicken, brown cow. Okay, so, yeah, so it's not necessarily always the A minor is, represents despair, but if it is in an A minor natural key, meaning that the chords and notes you use are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then it's rooted in despair. Yeah, it's interesting, cool stuff. Okay, so, and if you guys have it, as I get into this next thing, if you have any more questions about the whole suspended root motive thing, let me know. We're going to talk about interchangeable root motives. Okay, so I'm going to let's just take you through this, okay? We have this. That scale, all right? I'm going to diminish the third note and the sixth note, right? Am I doing this right? No. Yep. Yeah, okay. I'm going to diminish the third, sixth, and seventh notes. So here is the major scale, just normal. Now I'm going to diminish the third, the sixth, and the seventh notes. Now it's a minor scale instead of a major, just by diminishing those three. But now I'm going to take away two notes. I'm going to take away the second note and the sixth note. So here is the full minor scale with all 7 notes. Now I'm going to take away the 2, and I'm going to take away the 6. We call that the minor pentatonic because it's 5. At Dandyland, we call it the penny scale because it's the only scale we can afford. It's also referred to as the blues scale. And so, boom, 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 boom. So now we have a minor pentatonic. It comes over here to America, the pentatonic, from Africa and from Native Americans. And then the Dorian mode and the Mixolydian mode come from Ireland. And in Ireland, they would often take away a note or two from the scale. So all this kind of starts going in America, right? And then this thing happens called slack key. So what I love about the beginning of American music, from folk to blues to hip hop, is it's like kind of all about not having a whole bunch of money or a whole bunch of time. And so a lot of these people, some of them were slaves, some of them were vagabonds. They didn't have time to learn the traditional fancy-ass ways of playing guitars. And so what they figured out is that if you tune this thing in open tuning, and you just take your finger across, or a railroad spike or a whiskey bottle, okay, and then what they figured out is that the chords that you can play just follow that pentatonic scale. But there's a big problem here, which creates some of the most original music that's ever happened on the planet. And definitely the most influential at a speed that we've never seen before, that people call the blues, right? And the problem is that if I'm playing in a minor, if I want to sing the minor pentatonic, because of slack key, because I can only play major chords, it gets this different sound. Because this should be, let's grab the guitar. So in a minor, it should, the 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7 of the pentatonic should sound like this. So the first chord is a minor, then a major, then a minor, then a minor again, then a major. But in the blues and Americana, because of this slack key tuning of banjos and slide guitars, we have to turn that first chord from a minor into a major, even though I'm still going to sing the minor pentatonic. I'm replacing everything is going to be a major. So the one that should be a minor, that should be despair, is turned into love. Interchangeable root motives. And then we have just love. So despair turned into love, love, sorrow turned into hope. Longing turned into hope, sorrow turned into power, and then just straight power. Let me do that again and really think of what the blues is. Despair turned into love. Love. Longing turned into hope. Sorrow turned into power. And power. Yeah. So, root motively, what's happening, what the music is doing emotionally during the blues is right off the bat, we are turning despair into love. And there is nothing more appropriate than like singing the blues, being down, and turning it into a song, turning despair into love. So, and then lifting up to longing, turned into hope. Go the blues. And then that turnaround is sorrow turned into power. Or we do things like we take that love, or that despair turned into love, that longing turned into hope, and then throw love in between it. And something that really fascinated me when I was a kid was that the blues could both be sad and happy at the same time. And so that was a really exciting discovery when we were making all this stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. So what about when you have to change, when you do interchanging and you change a minor chord out for a major chord? Oh my God, it explains the blues. But it also explains everything that came out from it, because then we add power in movement, which is seventh chords. Let's go to another thing. Okay, so now when we have a major chord with a minor seventh, so now we get into funk territory, right? And it is all, and I'm still going to sing boom, boom, bum, the minor pentatonic over it. Boom, bum, dun, dun, bum, 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 bum. Boom, boom, bum, 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 bum. So what's going on is that we have despair turned into love, with power and movement. And then we have longing turned into hope with power in movement. And then sorrow turned into power with power and movement. But America didn't stop there. And what I love about the story of that, of how that happened, it happened because of slack key. It happened because of open tuning, because of, kind of laziness. And the kind of laziness that I really embrace, which is like, don't bother with that thing. Just make it as easy as possible. And that's the term slack key. Let you know about that. So then there's this other, what if you go the other way? So we just took a minor key and we're singing minor melodies, but changed all the minor chords in the key to major chords. That's the blues. What if you do a major, you're singing major, well, I guess it's not quite the opposite, okay? But what if you're in a major key and you do the same, you turn all of those minor chords, which there are the 2, the 3, and the 6 are all minor chords in a major key. 1, 4, 5. This is generally what happens, is if you're in a minor, 1, 4, 5 are minor, the rest are majors, and then vice versa. But what if we take, so if we're in G, and we take those chords, which are G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor. What if we then take all of the minor chords and just make them major? Then, what if we add that minor seventh to basically all of the chords in the key? So we have then we can get things like or basically we get into ragtime. In fact, Actually, I might need this for a second. So those are interchangeable root motives. Yeah, you're probably lost too. Ask questions. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this because this is just a chance for me to just ramble this shit off the top of my head and kind of start to get used to things. The problem with root motives is it does require a first step, which is number theory in music. It requires you to really understand the major scale and that kind of stuff. So, but when I teach them together at the same time. So I'll teach scales, but also teach the emotional root motives. It really helps kids understand music theory, and it really helps people, basically over 30, who just play music but don't really know music theory at all. I think that the way that we teach music theory is stupid. Okay. All right, cool. I got to get going. I'll do a rag song. I'll do a slow rag song. And let me just explain the root motive. So we have love, and then love, and then sorrow turned into love, and then longing. Oh, thanks, Zorders. So love, sorrow turned into love with power and movement. And then longing turned into hope with power and movement. And then power with power and movement. Okay, sorry, I said that wrong. Okay, so it's love, sorrow. It's this very confusing stuff. And I made it up with Kirsten, and we both still get lost. Anyway, that's why I'm doing this, by the way, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So, love, then sorrow, the three, turned into love, and then despair turned into hope with movement of power. And then longing turned into hope with power and movement. And then power was power and movement. Power and movement means that minor seventh chord. So if you guys have any questions, speak now, forever hold your peace till next time we talk. I'm going to sing this song and then answer any questions and get out of here. I got to go to work. I say go to work. I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. Don't mind me, I'm just walking through clouds, chasing time away. I love you, baby, and your sunshine smile, but I cannot stay. I got a great big world to go see and new songs to sing. And if you're patient and you wait for me, you can wear my ring. Don't hold me down. Don't hold true like the world's spinning round. Oh, hold me down. My love is true like the world's spinning round. Don't hold me down. When I'm around, you know I love you just right. From the morning till night. Well, when it's time in the blink of an eye, I'll kiss your lips and say goodbye. I got a great big world to go see, new songs to sing. If you're patient and you wait for me, well, you can wear my ring, but don't hold me down. Don't hold me down. My love is true like the world's spinning round, but don't hold me down. My love is true like the world's spinning round, but don't hold me down. Boom. All right, I'm going to get going. Guzzo says, hey, Joey, are the chords, emotions hard and fast, or are they relative to their surrounding chords? Relative. The full name that we came up with that day that we started working on this was PHORM, PHORM. The philosophy of root motives, or the philosophy of relative root motives with 2 R's. So yes, they're always relative, relative to the notes, relative to the chords, because music is relative. In fact, that's what started the whole thing, was me hearing something on the TV that Kirsten was watching saying that a C played at whatever hertz represents love, and I was like, bullshit. Music is relative. If a C represents love in a major key, then so would G in G major, and so would D in D major. And so it started this whole thing, and this emotional music theory was born. Cool. So I'll be doing this every Wednesday. It'll just be like this for a while. Just be me sort of like doing whatever the hell I just did. And then eventually with visual aids. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And let's see. Tomorrow, Thursdays and Fridays, I'm not going to be going live. But Thursdays, I believe, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this, but I've been working on the series of chopping up Jade stuff. And then I realized that Thursdays, she always does the interviews that go longer. So I might just I'm probably going to have to chat with her soon, but I think that she usually goes for an hour and a half. So maybe an hour and a half after her Thursday shows, I will air the Chopped Carrots series. And I just finished doing a couple of them. I screwed up a whole bunch of things. It'll be hilarious to watch. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for hanging out. I'm going to get going. Love you. Please go make something. Would you just make something today, even if it's terrible? In fact, maybe even kind of try to make something terrible and then do it again. Love you guys. Have a badass